I don't know if I messed up. I don't know if my sleeve is actually gonna work or if I need a frog and completely restart, and that kind of sucks. So debating on what to do. For this sweater project, I've really been winging it. Kind of just going by measurements, feel, and I think it's gonna work out. I am currently 3 out of the 4 panels in. I have the front panel, back panel, 1 sleeve done, just need 1 more sleeve. Then I'll do the shirt ribbing, or not the shirt, the neck ribbing, and then the bottom ribbing, torso ribbing. I'm sure there's an official term. For this, I've really been, I keep saying winging it, but I've been winging how to make the different pieces, and I had to get the most creative with my sweater sleeve construction. The front and back panel are pretty much just very boxy, minus I had like little cutouts, which I'll show you in a second, little cutouts on the body to kind of give some give for the shoulder spacing, or attempt to. And then the sleeve itself became kind of an interesting attempt at shaping. So instead of going with just a straight boxy sleeve, to try to give it a little bit more body, here it is folded in half, I had it come down and then had, you can't really tell down here, but had it kind of come in a little bit before I did the ribbing or the cuff. When I pull it out, it's got this kind of semi-triangular top, much more obvious in person than on camera or on my phone. But I decided to do it like this, just instead of making a tube, just based off of how it's going to connect, or I cross my fingers, hope it connects to the body. So for this project, I've really been basing everything off of this sweater, a sweater that I like the fit, and I know it's not going to fit exactly the same with mine just because of the material is soft, has a really nice drape. This is going to be a little bit more boxy and rigid, but for the general shaping of it, it was a lot easier for me to base it off of something I know that fits and I like the general look than trying to go completely from scratch. Now for the sleeves, I was attempting to get a little bit of that, I don't know if you could see it in the camera, but this kind of shoulder spacing that we have right here. And I wanted to get how it kind of starts wide and narrows down and goes down on the sleeve for my crochet project. So what I did is I measured how far on here was. So from here to here, I believe was about 8 inches, so 16 inches. I crocheted a straight single crochet foundation row. So not just chaining, but a foundation row, which I'll link it up here in case you want to check out how I've learned to do it. I did a straight row on that. And then for a couple, I want to say about maybe 20 rows, every time I would do a single, not a decrease, but I would half double crochet 2 stitches together. So go down in count. I think this was what, 62 question mark stitches. I probably should have counted that, didn't, but that's okay. I think 62 stitches. And then every time from the shoulder down for a good chunk, I just kind of went down a stitch and half double crocheted 2 together. And that ended up getting me this shape. So it's not a perfect fit. You can kind of see the sweater on either side, but let me pull it up a little so you can see it from aerial view. You can see it goes down in the shoulder right there, and then I straighten it out, and then at the very end before the ribbing I'll go down again, kind of using the same technique. And again, this was just for inspiration, but my hope is that I can take this edging right here and I'll sew it. I'm probably going to use a mattress stitch question mark. I'm going to sew it along here, and then, you know, the back side going over here. And it won't line up, which you saw earlier. It won't line up perfectly since it's got a slight bend in it, or a triangular top looking on here instead of that straight one. It should, cross your fingers, still work. And then I will kind of crochet or mattress stitch the edges to about here or so, and then just mattress stitch or seam it together down to the bottom, and cross my fingers that it works. That is the idea for it. Honestly, I'm not gonna know how well it's going to work or how effective this plan was until I really kind of put it all together. I'm gonna make another one of those. I'll show you some of the basics of what I did and how I got this shaping, just so in case you are trying to wing it and you want to base it off of a sweater, you can just get an idea of how to get that shoulder spacing, and you can kind of wing your own construction of your own design as well. Now, this isn't going to make much sense to anybody but me, but for this sweater, I've been taking tons of random notes, kind of planning out different things of what works, what doesn't, just so I can kind of have a plan. And for me, I kind of have I took notes that make sense probably only to me on how to make the sleeve. So I see that I started with 62 single crochet, no, half double crochet, having a foundation row of half double crochets. Wow, that was hard. And then I've got kind of a plan of what to do from there. Okay, sorry, I was reading on. So foundation row, half double crochet 62 times. That's what I'm going to start with. Someone decided to get up a little early from their nap, so was able to get 62 of my foundation half double crochet row, and that's all I can do right now. So I'm gonna put this project on pause and we'll come back to it. Hey, and because I'm needed elsewhere, huh? Yeah, I am. Yeah, so I'll try to update this hopefully someday this week. So what I end up doing, honestly, you can count, but I kind of go on autopilot. I'll just fold it in half and see kind of roughly where it should go. So I'm gonna combine these. So half double crochet 2 stitches together. So I'll do one more half double crochet and stitch 2 together, and then finish the row doing half double crochet. And now half double crochet 2 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue on. So now that I'm done with that row, you can see how it's starting to get a slight V. Now this looks a little weird when you have it on its end, but what you'll notice is once we put it kind of how the sleeve is going to go, this will be the shoulder. You can see already it's going to start going down at a slight angle. So sometimes when I am crocheting and folding it in half, there's not an exact spot. So like this one, this is the center, so I could go with this stitch or with this one. I honestly just kind of choose one. I think I'll go this one because I feel like it's leaning a little this way. So I'm going to do one more half double crochet, and then I'll half double crochet these two together and then just keep going. But yeah, when that, again, I'm not counting, I am just choosing one side, folding in half, finding the midway or close to midway point in this case, and calling it good. Sometimes when I am crocheting and folding it in half, there's not an exact spot. So like this one, this is the center, so I could go with this stitch or with this one. I honestly just kind of choose one. I think I'll go this one because I feel like it's leaning a little this way. So I'm going to do one more half double crochet, and then I'll half double crochet these two together and then just keep going. But yeah, when that, again, I'm not counting, I am just choosing one side, folding in half, finding the midway or close to midway point in this case, and calling it good. So I laid out, so here's my sleeve folded in half, and you can kind of see how right here it stays straight as you go down until I kind of go to the wrist, and then I get most of the shaping going right along the top of the sleeve. When you lay it flat, it looks much funkier because here is where that the end that's going to go to the sweater. In order to start getting it narrower and creating this shaping, I had to kind of make it one stitch smaller in this stretch right here. Now it looks pretty funky when you lay it flat, but I believe it's going to work out with how the sleeve will sew on once I sew it onto the final body panels in the piece. So just kind of going to keep going straight for a bit, and then I'll narrow a little bit and make the cuff. Doesn't make a lot of sense to anyone but me, but I've just finished here. Now I have 2 more rows before I do the cuff, and this is where I'm really going to start to, like, I'm going to go a little narrow, and then the last one's going to kind of pop in to try to give it that curve of a sleeve before I get my cuff on. To bring my sleeve in, I tried a bunch of different things and frogged it multiple times, but for my last row I decided to do 2 half double crochets, half double crochet 2 rows together, not 2 rows, 2 stitches together, which I think I'm counting wrong right now while I'm talking. Can't multitask and count. And it just brings it in just a little bit more, just so I don't have like a super loose cuff going around once I seam it all together. I have it. I have my shaped sleeve. So here is the first one right here. You can see when I was talking about it coming in just a little bit. Here's that final row that just shrinks it in around the wrist a little. And here it is. All the way down here. So here you go. This is what it looks like once it's on, how it starts kind of wide and then slowly works its way down, much more form-fitting than just doing a straight sleeve the whole way, and it hugs a lot closer and a lot nicer. So there you go. I really wasn't sure if this sleeve method would work because I haven't made a sweater with that type of construction before. I was totally making it up as I go and crossing my fingers, but as you can see, worked out pretty well. So definitely don't have any complaints. Yeah, I'm excited for the weather to get cold again so I can actually wear this sweater out now that it's all done. But yes, thanks for watching.